The advice and opinions expressed by Dr. Granpeesheh and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. Priscilla has written in and said, "Hi, my son is at Card O'Hare, Chicago. He just turned 4. When it's time to go to school, do you recommend public school for the support and social interaction or a private school K through 12 grades, which will be one-to-one school full-time? This would be a great investment and sacrifice, but we want the best outcome for him. I'm just wondering what you would suggest. The school I'm considering is Brightmont Academy, Chicago. We will continue with ABA until we have to move on. My son was diagnosed with mild autism and ADHD. He is super bright and hyperlexic. I love you both." I do want to say that Brightmont Academy is that has schools in many different places. We actually were talking with them at Autism Live about partnering with them because they have a very unique program that they do that's one-to-one. So I don't know how familiar you are with Brightmont, Dr. Granpeesheh, but I know a little bit about them because we were in talks with them about partnering.
That's great. No, I don't know about them. And I guess your feedback would be very valuable here, Shannon, but my general feeling is it depends. My answer depends on the level of the child. So ultimately, I mean, first of all, thank you for entrusting us with your child. 4 years old, wonderful. I love it when a parent is at 4 saying he's high functioning and we're looking at schools and this is great. So I guess the one thing I want to think, so with one-to-one, you're going to have, I guess, there's two sides to every coin. So one-to-one provides more access to, I guess, the things that might be pertinent to your child. And so therefore, it'll be very focused on the things that your child needs. Obviously, it's going to be a higher quality because it is one-to-one. On the other hand, your child gets used to learning from one-to-one only. And I don't know how long Brightmont goes or, what the future holds, but there's something to be said for teaching our kids to learn in a group environment because that's real life. And perhaps Brightmont might take him through elementary, but at some point he's going to have to learn in a traditional way, which is in a classroom with teachers. That said, you really need to evaluate the quality of your public school and whether it's an environment where he will flourish and thrive and learn. So there's a lot that goes into it, Shannon, and it's hard to give one answer or another. I would just, perhaps if I would ask my BCBA to go and observe the options, and that might be able to help.
I love that idea. I have to say, we have something in Los Angeles that is kind of similar to the Brightmont model that is just down the street from us here, Dr. Granpeesheh, the Fusion program.
Yes.
And it was something that I definitely toured and considered for GEM, and I think it's really individual for different people. First of all, a lot of times we see that the population that really utilizes that sort of format are kids that are Olympic athletes, kids that are actors, for instance, that they need to go to school and they want to make sure they get a good education, but they can't go in the confines of the times. I love that for Brightmont that they are very able and willing to work around the time schedule for ABA, for instance. That if you are still trying to do an intensive ABA program and school is saying, well, you have to be here, and ABA says that's when we have a therapist, Brightmont is great for that because they're going to be able to work around your schedule. And what they do in these programs is that they maximize it's very ABA-esque in that they're saying, okay, so what you're trying to learn right now is math. All we're going to do right now is teach you math one-to-one on your schedule so that you're able to get the most from it. And then when we want you to socialize, we're going to have you in a group. So they do have opportunities for you to do things in a group, but when we're teaching academics, they focus on that one-to-one and make it very individualized, which means that the kids often move significantly faster, that you can accomplish so much more academically in a shorter period of time because you're not dealing with all the other kids' behavior and all the other kids' stuff and how, and moving faster or slow.
It's like homeschooling. Right?
Yes.
It's like, yeah.
But with like incredible experts. They have incredible experts. So I absolutely love that about this kind of model, which was why we were talking about partnering with Brightmont. It's really expensive. We have to be honest about this. But one of the things that I do love about Brightmont is that they have a program that they help parents very successfully to be able to get that money from the school district. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I don't have anything bad to say about Brightmont. I really kind of loved their model, and I think it's definitely something to be looked at. Not everyone needs that model. As you were saying, it's so individualized and
How high up does it go, Shannon? Does
K
it go
through 12.
12th grade?
K through 12. And
That's great.
for some of our teenagers who have such extreme anxiety when they're in a classroom and having to deal with this, I don't know how anybody deals with the social circumstances of junior high and high school right now. I'll be honest with you. It's a mess post-COVID. It's a mess for those kids. I would definitely recommend at least doing this for a period of time. Whether you have to do the whole junior high, high school,
Well, I mean, if they do go through 12, it's
do.
not a bad idea to actually just go with the model, right? Because I think one of the things that I see with kids who've been homeschooled, for example, is that going later in life, entering a social situation with other kids is hard. So I like the idea that it provides flexibility, especially if it's a child who's with card, because as you know, Shannon, we are able to do so much more with our kids in the morning.
Yep.
And if the program allows the child to receive their academics in the afternoon, then even better. And if it's a family, it is definitely going to be much more individualized and higher quality. So I can't really think of a negative situation to go with it as long as they and us, we all plan social activities for the child as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to say, because I know you guys are going to start writing in, Brightmont is in many different places around the country. And when I was last talking to them, they still, it's brick and mortar, and the child typically comes to be face-to-face with a teacher, although they did have a model for tutoring, that if you just want tutoring, and that does not have to be face-to-face. And I was talking to them about the potential to be able to do it distance. I don't know where they are with that right now. So just putting that out there to our friends for our friends over at Brightmont. Not meaning to be a commercial, but I was impressed with what they had. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you there.